Hey YouTubers, Hike with Mike here, of course. Not out on the trails today. Too hot, even for me. And staying inside. Haven't done a cooking video in a while, so I figured I'd do something that's nice and a very cooling dish to have, and that's called cucumber namasu. I add sliced water chestnuts to it as well. It's pretty easy to make. Doesn't have a lot of ingredients, which is kind of cool. I'm going to peel the cucumbers. I'm going to take out all the seeds in the cucumbers, then chop them up, and then I'm going to soak them in salt for about 20 minutes to drain out some of the water. But there's not much ingredients to it, just some rice wine vinegar, a little bit of sugar, salt, and grated ginger. I always put my ginger in the freezer so it lasts longer. So I'll show you through this process here, but it's very refreshing, particularly in hot days like today. I find if you get one of these grapefruit spoons, it makes it really easy to get the seeds out of the cucumbers pretty quick. Just like that. It's pretty good. Works. After I've seeded the cucumbers, I cut them up in about 1/2-inch slices. And then I also have my water chestnuts rinsed really good and draining there. That will add to the last minute, and we'll move on to the next step. If you don't like water chestnuts, you don't need to add this to the ingredient. Just something to give it a little bit of a crunch. So it's not something that you necessarily have to use. So the next step now is I put a tablespoon of kosher salt, and I sprinkled it around the cucumbers, and we're going to let that cure for about 20-25 minutes. Take out more of the liquid in the cucumbers. That's why you do this, is to get them so much. That's why you took the seeds out too. You want to kind of get as much liquid out of the cukes as you can, and just let the flavors that we're going to add later really dominate the dish. While you're waiting for the cucumbers to cure for about 20-25 minutes, every once in a while, just go ahead and swirl the salt around in the cukes to speed up the process too. Then the next step is you want to go ahead and rinse the cukes after they've been salted for 20 minutes or so through a colander. And just let it drain for a little bit, 5-10 minutes. And then the next thing is we're going to get a clean towel, and we're going to squeeze as much of the moisture out of the cucumbers before we finish the meal. So what I did here is I took a clean towel, put all the cucumbers in it, and then I squeezed out as much of the moisture as I could. So we're almost done now, but you really want to squeeze out and make it as dry as possible, because all the other flavors are going to add to it. It really will bring out the flavor of the dish. So this is what the cukes will look like after they've been squeezed out. And again, at this point, if you just want to do cucumbers and don't like water chestnuts, you just keep going with the recipe. I'm just adding that for the crunch, but you make sure you squeeze out as much water as you can, so that it's going to just really take up all the other flavors that we're going to add in a little bit. Okay, and the final ingredients for this is going to be a 1/4 cup of sugar, a little pinch of salt, a little bit of crushed black pepper, and then a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar, and we're done. So I'm going to assemble this, and then I'll show you it on a plate. I forgot the most important ingredient. Go ahead and grate some ginger on there. I would do to your taste. If you really like ginger, do a lot. If you don't like ginger, do little. So I will leave that up to you. And like I said, I usually freeze my ginger, and it makes it really pretty easy to grate it when I'm ready to use it for Japanese meals and things like that. So that's ginger to your taste. And there you have it. You can stick a fork in it. It's done. I've served this over rice, but if you just want to eat it as a salad like this right here, it's just something in these hot days are really cooling and refreshing.